Good afternoon and welcome to the Red Mic. Yeah, a little bit early. I'm in this conference this week, so the times are going to be inconsistent, and I apologize again. These Red Mic messages are life and leadership lessons I picked up from 25 years in public service, 16 years as a youth scout. It's been that kind of day, folks. 16 years as a youth sports coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: the importance of a pre-game ritual in the business world. What do I mean? Well, just like athletes wouldn't dream of, just diving headfirst into a game without stretching, warming up, those pre routines. I mean, I'm sure you've seen football players attempting to touch their toes and all of that stuff. In fact, in high school, I had a drill team girlfriend for a while, and she used to make fun of us and give me a hard time. I was like, yeah, you're more limber. It it just is what it is. But those pregame routines, they get us ready for peak performance, preventing injuries, maximizing our potential on that field. You can use the same sort of mindset to benefit you in the workplace. Now, what does that entail? Well, think about the meetings where you're going to have to deliver a presentation, or you're going to have to jump in with ideas, roundtable kind of stuff. Just like stretching and warming up loosens up muscles, a short pre-meeting prep session with people on your team can loosen up your mind, boost your focus. Take a few minutes to review the agenda, jot down some key points, or maybe even brainstorm a little bit beforehand. This mental warm up will get your brain in the game and help make sure that you're sharp and ready to dive in feet first and contribute. Now, let's say you've got a big presentation coming up. Just like you wouldn't go onto the game field without having really practiced, and you've heard me talk about Coach Tyler. We practiced every play over and over and over and over again. Similarly, if you're going to go do a presentation, your performance is going to be better 90 times out of 100, if not more. Instead of winging it, rehearse. If you're going to be talking in front of a group, make sure you know the names of the people you're talking. Make sure you know how to pronounce their names. Make sure you know your presentation so well that you can deliver it without looking at your notes. I mean, how many of you have been to a business seminar or presentation, and it's a PowerPoint and they're clicking through and they're reading 80% of everything that's on every screen of that PowerPoint? I don't know about you, that makes my eyes roll so far back in my head. I see brain and I want to take a nap. So don't be that person. Calm yourself, deep breaths before you go on. And then go back to that pregame performance, that pregame workout, that pregame rehearsal. Make sure that you go back to the high points of everything that you worked on. And then that way, your presentation is as good as it can possibly be in that moment. Might it be better later when you've, done the same presentation a few times? Almost certainly. But particularly that first time, get practice in beforehand. Key takeaway here is pretty simple. Preparation really is key to everything. By incorporating some type of pre-game ritual, whether it's prepping for a meeting or warming up for a presentation, you are really setting yourself up for success if you just take the time to do it. Don't wing it. Kick that to the curb. Take a moment to get your mind and your body in the game and watch your performance soar. And that's today's Red Mic message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you'll be back tomorrow. Remember, these Red Mic messages are generally live midday, but they are going to be moved to later in the day, probably after 5 o'clock, I suspect, moving forward. After the July 4th week, the week of July 8th, I suspect they're going to be probably around 6 o'clock, if not even a little bit later. I'm still trying to figure out when these are going to be presented. But when they're not live, they are uploaded on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and also on Spotify. And of course, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. I would appreciate a like, a follow, and a share. I hope you'll come back tomorrow. And until next time, remember, life is short. Drink the bourbon.